We're back on the Early Edge on CBS Sports Network, and I'm joined by Calvin Wetzel to talk some WNBA. And Calvin, I do want to get to your best bets on this three-game slate Thursday, but some storylines with some superstars first. Let's talk Alyssa Thomas. I got to get your reaction. She just got her 12th triple-double, breaking her previous record, six-time All-Star. What do you think a season like this does for her legacy?
Well, I think the biggest thing is that she's doing this all on a new team this year. She was with the Connecticut Sun her whole career, basically a decade before this. A lot of the same teammates, only two coaches. And now with the Mercury, totally different system, new coach. You can't call her a system player anymore. And if anything, she's been better on the Mercury this year. She smashed the WNBA record all time for assisted threes. It was 121 previously. She has assisted on 148 threes this year. And in terms of threes made or assisted, she's responsible for the second most threes in the league this year without even shooting one. That's how good she's been in terms of facilitating that offense. So she's been everything for this offense that has been one of the best in the league. And she's just adding to her legacy every time she gets a new triple-double in Phoenix.
We got another player trying to carve out her legacy, but she can't because she keeps kind of getting injured here with Caitlin Clark. Now, I got to ask you, is she going to make it back before this season is out? And to the extent she is, what do you think the impact will be for the Fever?
Well, I certainly hope she does. I do think she has a chance to come back by the end of the regular season, which is 2 weeks from today. She did participate in a shoot around the other day. She still is going to need a couple of legit practices under her belt before she gets back onto the court for a game. But it seems like her timeline is right now basically to come back for 1 or 2 regular season games at the end of the year. Her impact might be a little bit diminished. She might have to shake off some of that rust, obviously maybe ease into things, a minutes limit, things like that. But right now the Fever are 2 games up on that playoff cut line. So best case for them, they're able to clinch a playoff spot with a game or 2 to go. And then you have a game where you can ease Caitlin Clark back in the regular season, maybe not have to worry about whether you win the game or not. And hopefully at that point, she's had a chance to kind of ease back into things. And by the time the playoffs start, she'll be closer to 100%. So I do think that there's some optimism that she's on a good timeline here and that we will be able to see her at least in the playoffs, if not by the end of the regular season.
Certainly be great to see her back on the court again this season. Let's go to what's happening today on a Thursday. We got a 3-game slate. We're going to start with the Mystics. They're over in New York. It's a pretty big spread. Are we taking the favorite or the dog?
We're going with the dog here, Mystics plus 12. I talked about this on this show with you on Monday. The Liberty really just like to play with their food in these type of games. I took the Sun double-digit spread against the Liberty in that game. The Sun almost won outright. The Liberty held on. Same thing here. You look at the last 2 years, New York has been 7-23 against the spread when the spread is over 10 points. They just simply do not get up for these games. Not enough to dominate, at least. They obviously win more often than not, but they are pretty content just winning the game. If they win by 7, 8, 9, that seems to be okay with them. And so Washington is fighting for their playoff lives right now. I think they're going to be the more desperate team here, and I think there's value on them, certainly enough to keep it within single digits. So I like this spread.
Now, Calvin, we see you here on CBS Sports Network all the time. But again, the Early Edge morning show on the Sportsline YouTube channel every single Monday through Friday at 10. I point that out because when you've been on lately, you have found some edges and you've been very successful with it in, believe it or not, the team to score first. I say believe it or not to everybody out there because it seems like such a niche thing and like a quirky thing to bet. But you've been hitting them, and you've got to bet for Seattle, Minnesota on a team to score first.
It's one of my favorite markets to bet, and we've hit a couple of them on the morning show, so let's try to hit one on this show. It's all about the jump balls with these. I love Seattle to score first in this one for all the things that the Lynx are good at. Obviously, the best team in the league running away with the 1 seed. Jump balls may be the one thing that they are not. Ezzy Magbagor, 57% on jump balls, and Atlanta Smith for the Lynx, only 31%. So when you look at how that has played out on the season, Seattle has scored first 56% of their games, and Minnesota just 40% of their games. We're getting a pick 'em here despite that disparity. And in the 3 head-to-head matchups, Seattle's won the tip in all 3 of them. They've scored first in 2 of those 3. So this really shouldn't be a pick 'em. It's minus 114 both ways. That's just an incorrect line to me. I think Seattle should definitely be favored to score first, even though they are not favored to win the game. So I love Seattle to win the tip, and I love them to get on the board first.
All right, let's cash this bet. Let's go to Chicago and Phoenix. You're looking at the prop market and you're looking at a familiar name that we just talked about.
We are going with Alyssa Thomas under 15 and a half points for all the praise we just heaped on her. This is another one I've talked about in the morning show. She has a tendency to take over when she needs to and not when she doesn't. And this is going to be one of those games where she doesn't. They are favored by 12 and a half points. It should be, in theory, an easy win. Obviously, you can never overlook anyone in the W, but when the Mercury are favored by more than one possession this year, Alyssa Thomas is under this in 16 of her 21 games. She goes over a lot more often when they are underdogs. And that includes 3 Chicago Sky matchups already where they were favored by around this amount, and AT has not scored more than 11 points in any of those 3 matchups. So I do think we'll see a good game from her in terms of passing, might rack up some dimes. She might get another triple-double, but it's going to be more of like a 12-10-10 type of a triple-double. I don't think she's getting to 16 points, so I love her under in the scoring department, 15 and a half, or I've seen it trickle down to 14 and a half at some places. That's okay too.
Still seems like tremendous value based on that analysis at 14 and a half or 15 and a half. All right, let's close things out with our favorite prop tonight in the W.
We're sticking with that same game. Alyssa Thomas's teammate Satu Sabali under 5.5 rebounds. It's minus 125 most places. And this is another one. I took this on CBS HQ the other night in her last game and it cashed. So we are running it back. She is under this in 12 of her last 15 games. She went over this in almost every game before that. But that last stretch of 15 games coincides with, number one, when she returned from that injury in the middle of the season. And number two, when the Mercury signed Dewana Bonner. And so when you look at the rotations and things like that, since that point, Satu Sabali now has a capable backup. She's been coming off that injury. They've been managing her minutes, trying to save her for the playoffs. And when she does share the floor with Dewana Bonner, obviously there's another good rebounder there to take some of those rebounds away from her. And so it's really not just one of those random cold stretches. There's a lot that's going into this. And I think her rebounding is going to continue to be down compared to what her season average is. So we're still getting right around her season average, but she's been averaging more like 4.5 over that stretch, not 5.5. So I think this line is too high for her, and minus 125 is a reasonable price. So I love taking Satu Sabali under 5.5 rebounds tonight.
Calvin, putting you on the spot here a little bit, but I believe it was yesterday, the morning show you came on, you had another under rebounds prop and it hit swimmingly. Like it wasn't even close, right?
Yeah, we took Maddie Siegrist under 5.5 rebounds in that one. And Paige Beckers was questionable. That was why we were getting a high line. And Paige Beckers was ruled out. So I was a little bit nervous about the play after that because we were going to see more minutes from Siegrist at that point. But she did play a lot of minutes and still only finished with 2 rebounds. She had 2 at halftime and didn't get another one. So these under 5.5 rebounds lines have been working out for us. Hopefully we can keep the train rolling.
No one sharper in the WNBA than Calvin Wetzel. Calvin, thank you so much for joining us. He joins us here. He joins us on the morning show on the Sportsline YouTube channel. And ladies and gentlemen, he joins you in the Sportsline members only Discord. I cannot stress it enough. We've got guys like Calvin in there on the WNBA channel. I'm in the NFL channel talking about NFL props and against the spread picks, MLB, NBA, NASCAR, UFC, you name it. It's in the Sportsline members only Discord where experts and a lot of you are chatting it up.